done is better than perfect. Progress over perfection. Improvement over perfection. My name is Sana. This is Sana Universe Within. This video is about how perfection ain't got nothing on you. In order to grow and to learn, you have to fail. You have to be imperfect. This channel is about you discovering your unique universe within, where I give neuroscience, emotional regulation, and stress reduction tips and hacks for you to reach your best life and live your best self into this world. This video is about overcoming perfection. Perfectionism is something that a lot of people struggle with. It's common. Some people more, some people less. But if you as a child have only been rewarded for doing something really, really well, exceptionally well, to a certain high top standard, only rewarded in certain scenarios, or when you have accomplished something and not just made an improvement, excuse the bugs, then this pattern in your brain might have developed and is still following you throughout life. Perfectionism is a fear of failure in disguise. When we're perfectionists, we're not actually that attached to the outcome itself, if you think about it. It's more so what the lack of desired outcome might bring us. So we're afraid of judgment if we're not going to be perfect in a certain scenario. We're afraid of failing. We're afraid of not being good enough. We're afraid that we're gonna lose our whole status and everything that we've ever worked for and built will be gone just because of this failure. And that's not true. That's not how the world works. Perfection is unnatural. It is dead. It is unalive. In this world, perfection does not exist. Even the things that we call perfect, for example, certain music or a ballet performance or getting the top highest grade in school or in college, those things we might call perfect, but there's always room for improvement. There always is. The ballet performance, the ballet dancer can always get better. The music can always get better. And what is even better, because beauty and pleasure from music is subjective, right? So some people like one style, another like another. So what I'm saying here is perfection is unreachable, it's dead, and it's subjective. What is perfect to me is not perfect for you in every single area of life, and that is normal. So don't try to reach perfection. Try to be better. You're better. So first define what is your better in that particular area of life where you struggle with perfectionism. And then here are some hacks, neuroscience-backed hacks that will help you. Hack number 1, hitting the basics. The basic building blocks of the task that you need to achieve. Let's imagine you need to write a dissertation. Happens in life, right? You're not just gonna go to the library, sit down and write in your to-do list, write a dissertation. You're gonna break it down into small, achievable, doable pieces and tasks that are gonna stretch over the period of 2 to 3 months usually, or maybe a whole year, maybe 2 years for some people. So that huge elephant task, you need to break it down to little small pieces. That's number 1. Hack number 2, as I said, hitting the basics. Now that you've identified the basics for each and every single day, have one star task. Mark it with a star in your journal, in your to-do list, and tell yourself, if I have done this one little thing, but the end of the day, when I go to sleep at night, in the evening, I think I've done enough. There might be 5 things on your to-do list, right? But this one thing is with a star. So it's a must. And if you've done it, you've done enough. That really personally helped me with my dissertation work, and I'm speaking from personal experience. I found it extremely helpful. Hack number 3. It feeds on to the other previous 2 hacks, as in identifying the building blocks and then hitting the basics, as in completing the very basic task that you need. The concept of good enough, right? You're already good enough just as you are. It is your birth state. You have been born good enough, and you're always going to be good enough. Then there's a whole question of good enough for whom and what is a good enough. That's a topic for another video. But here we're speaking about you completing a certain task to a good enough standard. What does that mean? For example, you said, I'm going to do the laundry. And someone who is prone to perfectionism might say, okay, then I'm also going to wash the dishes, clean the fridge, organize all of my house, rebunk my whole wardrobe, and organize the garden. Something that I wanted to do for 2 years but never got to, right? Someone who has perfectionism might put way more tasks on their shoulders than they're supposed to, and then they'd say, oh, then cleaning the house was successful if I've done everything. This everything is often in the clouds, it's undefined, and that's why it's so important to identify the basic tasks. Maybe by cleaning the house on that specific day, you just meant the laundry, right? You just meant the garden, or you just meant the dishes, or a balance of those 3 tasks, but then you need a whole day for it. It's okay, depending on the size of your garden. What we're saying is you have to identify exact measurable level to which the task that you need to do would be completed to a good enough level. For example, dissertation introduction is 3,000 words. You don't need to write 5,000 or 6,000 or 7,000 for it to be good enough. In fact, that's going to be bad because you will spend a couple of months on it and then lose all of your time, and you should be at this point at the end of writing your dissertation. Very personal experience. You have to identify the basics and hit the basics. The good enough task, yeah, I'm now wondering if I explained this task in a good enough way for you, but by good enough we don't mean perfect or amazing. We just mean the bare minimum of this block that has to be done, the bare minimum. And then you find that if you've completed the bare minimum, you're like, oh, I'm so successful. Instead of spending 3 hours and writing an email, you spend half an hour, but you do have a hello, you do have a context, you do have a question or a request, and you do have a outro of that email. Maybe it's not the best email of the world, but guess what? It makes it the best because it was sent and it was done. Okay? Moving on. The most important neuroscience-backed hack that you can implement to beat your perfectionism is pointing out to your brain on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, the things that you've done well, your wins, your improvements, and your progress. Focus on progress and improvement in a certain task instead of achievement and accomplishment. Okay? For example, maybe your goal was to cook 1 new meal per week, right? Learn new recipe. Maybe this week you didn't do it, but you modified 1 or a few recipes that you had before and made them in a new way. That's an improvement. That's already great. You've used your brain, you thought creatively, you worked with what you had in that moment and made something happen. That's already great. Now, when you learn a new recipe, your mind is going to be more flexible to perceive new ways of cooking it. Great. Good enough. Hit the basics. Focused on improvement. What you can also do is alter your to-do lists. Instead of just having your classic to-do list where you just write everything that you have to do this day, travel the world and start a business and buy a house and get a dog and also get it groomed and all of the tasks that you have for this one little wonderful day. Modify your to-do list. Let it be an imperfect list. What does that mean? Instead of writing, do the laundry, write a dissertation, walk with the dog, call my grandparents, anything else that you might have on your to-do list. Literally, if you're really struggling with performing tasks, put a word imperfect in front of them. So how it's gonna look? It's gonna look imperfectly do the laundry, imperfectly call the grandparents, walk the dog imperfectly, and you write it out in your to-do list. For the brain, it's easier to perceive. And guess what? After you have done 1, 2, 3, a couple of tasks imperfectly, but you've done them, your brain starts to release more dopamine. And that means, thoughts like, I've got this. I'm achieving something. I've already done something, so I can do more. You're on a roll. It is recommended by research to start with a few tiny simple tasks that you can quickly complete, so then your brain is on a roll of completion. It's gonna be much easier to approach the big task that you need to do, because the dopamine is already in your system and you're already on the go. So here you go. Here are the tips. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as I'm recording this, done is better than perfect. I've been personally procrastinating with recording videos for my YouTube channel for such a long while, even though that's my really core dream. I really want to do it, so I'm very happy I'm finally doing it, but I will have to keep coming back to this information and reminding you this, because this is what I found that practically works for me in my life as a graduate from a biomedical bachelor's degree, and as someone who wants to start up my own YouTube channel. We launched a website last week. There will be news about that. It's called Neurobites, and it's all about the tips and tricks and articles about neuroscience. It's a science communication initiative in collaboration with American organization Science-backed. There will be linked to the website below. It's called Neurobites, and we have one new article every month. The first article is already up. It's about exercise, so check it out. Done is better than perfect. So go do one task that you've been putting off, but do it in the most simplest, most stupid, most silly, most imperfect way. Have a great week, and stay tuned for more neuroscience-backed emotional healing content. I think that's what this YouTube channel is mostly going to be about. And I'm very happy that this video is done and imperfect.